Welcome to the Butterfly Effect. I'm Chris Horner. This is the last and final of the 5 monument races for the 2025 season. That means this is the last Butterfly Effect for the 25 season too, because I only cover the big races. I don't think there'll be much else, but I will bring you some beyond the covers for sure, so make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. When we take a look at today's course, you got to keep in mind, as a monument, you know it's big time miles and you know it's always complicated. But here at Tour of Lombardy in 2025 and in every year, they're always going from Bergamo to Como or Como to Bergamo, which is what today's course is. So when we start looking at the profile at 240 kilometers and 7 category climbs, you can easily add 8 in there, and then you throw in some of the technicality of the race here at Tour of Lombardy. It is the race of the falling leaves. It is the most beautiful of all the 5 monuments. There's no doubt about that. Paris-Roubaix has its mud, its cobbles. Liège-Bastogne-Liège, I think, is the hardest of all the one-day races because it's the one time when the classic guys and the GC guys can come together and really battle. But when you come here to Lombardy, you got to battle against one Tadej Pogačar, and he's got 4 back-to-back victories here at Tour of Lombardy. He's trying to go for 5. Nobody has ever won 5 back-to-back. No one has won 2 while having the rainbow band jersey one season, then finishing it off with a win at Tour of Lombardy. But we know Tadej Pogačar just got done winning the Men's Road World Championships in Rwanda, so he wants to try to break that record too, along with everything else you can possibly break in the stratosphere. The Slovenian is on exceptional form in 2025. So when the racing gets started, we see right away they hit kilometer 0. It's Quinn Simmons throwing in some attacks. He's throwing in some aggressive attacks. And if I want to back it up just a hair before the race started, I left something out. Rafa Majka is retiring along with a few other riders like Peter Siri from Soudal Quickstep. So they had a little roll out there, celebration coming in as we see before they even left the neutral section. They got the front wheel spinning up there on the bike, sitting on the back wheel, doing a little salute there to some of the guys retired. That was nice. Now let's get back up to the race at kilometer 0 when I say Quinn Simmons is throwing in some jacks, and this boy wearing the Stars and Stripes jersey, he is motivated to put on a show in today's 25 edition of Tour of Lombardy. You see him get up the road. He's got Filippo Ganna. He's got Filippo Ganna, that is, got 2 teammates in this front group because Lucas Hamilton is up there and Victor Langolati's up there, the rider that's from Monaco. So with 3 riders from Ineos, 2 riders from Jaco Lula, these guys are throwing down, and one's Michael Matthews. You know he's kind of good on these classic courses, but this is Tour of Lombardy. It's for real GC, climber type guys. But Michael Matthews is going to put on a show too. So we see 14 guys going up the road. Peloton back there is trying to get organized a little bit. UAE team members been on the front a bit, but there's still some more attacking. But there's some more attacking up in that group of 14, 15 riders too, because Quinn Simmons is still throwing in some attacks. This will get rid of one of the riders from Albacete de Koenig, but Gal Glivar is still there. His teammate, as his first teammate got dropped off the back, leaving us with 14 riders as Quinn Simmons is lighting this course on fire. Now we go into about 225 kilometers ago. There's a crash at the back of the Peloton. That's Sepp Kuss back there of his Melissa bike. As the American rider goes down, we'll see him get back up. He will get back up to the front of the Peloton. And then we see Bora Hansgrohe on the front. Now guys, I got a text from one of my friends, Scott Derringer. He's Coach Scott in my world here on the Chris Horner's Cycling Foundation. Coach Scott, he throws in a text to me and he's like, what's the betting odds of where Tadej Pogačar attacks? And I said the better odds is whether or not which team will start working with UAE team members. Well, here you go. After Sepp Kuss went down, we see Bora Hansgrohe driving it on the front. Bora Hansgrohe driving it on the front at 215 kilometers to go. Guys, these guys, these knuckleheads here from Bora Hansgrohe are going to help UAE team members that have more victories throughout the 2025 season than any cycling team in the history of the sport. And you want to get on the front with the current Road World Champion, Tadej Pogačar. That's the outright 4-time winner in a row here at Tour of Lombardy. You want to help these guys out? This is a complete knucklehead move from Bora Hansgrohe right in the front. Well, we go up and over the Gazalo. They went over the soft side, not the difficult side. When you flip the course around and you finish in Como, you got to go up the difficult side. But now they go up over the top. We see him pass the famous museum there. He dropped down the descent, and Tom Pidcock's got a little bit of problems. Didn't really get to see how bad he went down, but we see him get back, and he's on his bike. He's riding in the back of Peloton. Before you know it, he's back there with his car. He's got a shoe problem. So it's going to take him a few kilometers. He's going to waste at least 10, 15 kilometers back there when he gets back to the group. group, but the problem is the Peloton's split in half. When you're doing Tour of Lombardy, it's not only going uphill that's complicated, going downhill is crazy complicated because they're going Mach speeds. If you got to go up 7 and 15% max sections of climbs, and I already told you there's 7 of them, that means the descents usually has some pretty nasty stuff too. So Tom Pidcock gets back to the back of the Peloton that's been split in half. Now they'll start to come back, but first when we see Bora Hansgrohe and, of course, when we see UAE team members right in the front, Domen Novak putting on a show here. He's been on the front throughout the whole course. But now we see Tom Squinch, Liddell Trek at the front. He's flying off the front. He's having it with the motorcycles. Because if I back the film up just beyond 170 kilometers ago, when they came off that first descent, well, you can see the motorcycle there pulling the Peloton. Now, when you're going down the descent, you can see the Peloton stretched out a lot of times with little gaps between. But what happens is when you're going downhill, you sprint out of the corner, you can get up to the same speed that the rider in the very front of the Peloton's doing. So there might be little gaps, but normally they're not big until you come out of the last corner. And they get very big out of the last corner, especially if you get a motorcycle in front of the Peloton there, being led by UAE Team Emirates and the knuckleheads from Red Bull, Bora Hansgrohe up there pulling. Well, that's why it's split. And we got about 40 guys, 45 guys that was up there. But then with Tom Squinch up there yelling at the cameras, and finally the second group comes back on, that means Tom Pidcock's back in the picture. But that's about 20 kilometers back there. Now you got to remember at Tour of Lombardy, if you got teammates around you, you got to stay calm when it splits in half. I've been back there when I didn't have teammates around me, and it is not easy when you come off the descent because now you have to do power the whole time if there's a gap. On the descent, come out of the corner, gap, boom, hit the power, hit max speed. You're doing the same speed as the guy in front of you, no problem, and you don't have to pedal. But on the flats, in order to do the same speed, you got to pedal like the rider in front of you, so that's why you see the big splits. Okay, they all come back together, and we're coming in the second category climb here, the Roncola. This climb's 9 kilometers long. We're talking about 6.5%. We're at 145 kilometers to go. This one we see the first breakaway guy start dropping. It's Helimos up there that's dropping from Jaco Lula. After that, he's got some company because Thibaut Gernelac's going to drop too. Now, that's 2 guys out, but they're holding about a 3-minute gap. That'll get down to about 2.5 minutes when they go over the top of the summit. After that, we finally see Domen Novak start to have some problems. If I back the film up just a hair, yes, when they started this climb, finally Bora Hansgrohe got off the front. Now we fast forward into about 135, 133 kilometers ago. We see Sivakov from UAE Team Emirates on the front. Shortly after that, we find Domen Novak. He's getting dropped as there's a little false bump coming in this section, but the Peloton's going Mach speed, single file. Sivakov's got it driving with about 132 kilometers to go. Everybody's suffering. You open up gaps right now, you got to do big time power, so you do not want this to happen. And if you're at the back there with Domen Novak and the riders in front of him, well, your Tour of Lombardy 2025 is just about over right now. Now we go up front. Sivakov is driving it like crazy. I take you into the third category climb here. This one's 7 kilometers long. We'll call it about 5%. Sivakov still driving it on the front. The front breakaway of 12 riders, a dozen riders, going to lose 2 out of there. We see Gael Gilvar. He drops from Albacete de Koenig, and Lucas Hamilton drops from Team Ineos. That means Ineos is down to 2 riders. But one of them is Filippo Ganna. So we got about 10 riders at the front right now, still driving, trying to hold off, and we're coming into 106 kilometers to go. Quinn Simmons throws in attack. Okay, the American rider starts the drive jersey. Like I say, he's putting on a show. 106 kilometers to go. This is kind of a knucklehead show at this moment. And you see Filippo Ganna come back after about 3-4 kilometers of pulling on the front. He brings the American Stars and Stripes champion rider back, gives him a little look to the left over there, and then keeps driving on the front. Okay, this move coming down the descent was not the time to be attacking when everyone looks like they've been gelling pretty well together up in this front group of 10 riders. So this seemed to be a little bit of a knucklehead attack, but like I said, he wants to put on a show today, and he will put on a show. There's no doubt about it. We look back, Sivakov is still driving on the front right now. We're coming up to the Crosetta. Now the Crosetta is the number 4 climb here, and this one's a monster at 11.5 kilometers, and I'll call it just over 6%. So we see the Peloton back there getting nervous. They're going curb to curb. We got Soudal Quicksteps driving it back there with Matteo Cattaneo trying to lead in Remco Evenepoel. Now Remco Evenepoel is basically the 5-star favorite here if you go just behind Tadej Pogačar. Tadej Pogačar is 10-star favorite. He's a 4-time champion here. But we see Remco Evenepoel's getting nervous there. His teammates are bringing him up to the front. Once we get into the climb proper, we see that it's Kofidis driving it on the front. And as Kofidis is driving around this bend, we see the next casualty. That's Jai Hindley. Jai Hindley goes off to the left side, crashes over the island. He's got some help from the spectators trying to get his chain back on. He'll chase, get back up to the back of the peloton, but he's going to drop later in the race. So let's get up and start looking at the group up here when we start looking at the breakaway guys, because Quinn Simmons is throwing in attack. He's getting ready to go at 82 kilometers to go. 106 was definitely ridiculous. 82, while you're going up a climb here, you're about 5K into it. Okay, he gets a gap. The time was starting to come down on the peloton back there, but he's still holding about 3 minutes. I thought this was kind of a knucklehead move, to tell you the truth, when I see him going at 85 kilometers to go. Filippo Ganna is back there trying to chase him down. Peo Bilbao there. Louis Vervaecke's there from Pseudo Quickstep. And Michael Matthews, the sprinter from Jayco Lula. Okay, he's a little bit of a classic rider specialist too. But he's the 4 that's still chasing back there. The only problem is Quinn Simmons putting time on him. And when we look behind those 4 chasers, well, it blew up what was left of the breakaway right now. So Quinn Simmons is starting to put some time as we see it go up to 10 and 20 seconds and 30 seconds on his 4 breakaway companions that he had throughout today's 2025 edition of Tour of Lombardy. Go back and look at the peloton. It's still Sivakov driving on the front. We go over the next climb with about 73 kilometers to go. Quinn Simmons is holding a 55-second gap and 3 minutes and 20 seconds on the peloton, being led by Sivakov. As Quinn Simmons comes off this descent, he's going to drive down now. He's got one last final big climb. It's the Ganda. Now, with the Ganda coming up and the gap at about 2.5 minutes to the peloton, the chasers between the 4 riders, well, they've been losing time to Quinn Simmons, so you know they're going to get wrapped up. Peloton's getting nervous before the Ganda starts because Tadej Pogačar has not thrown in attack, not one single time, and we got about 40 kilometers to go, just a hair over. So we see the Peloton is nervous coming into this, but Filippo Ganna's been wrapped up, and look at the way Filippo Ganna, the experienced rider from Team Ineos, looking right, looking left over his shoulder. He's trying to find Egan Bernal, their GC leader here, to try to win today's Tour of Lombardy, or at least try to podium or go top 5, because Tadej Pogačar is looking spectacular in the 25 season. As Filippo Ganna finds his Colombian teammate, he's going to look after him on the left side as the peloton's getting driven on the right side by Matteo Cattaneo, my old teammate from Lampre days back on the Italy team. Behind him, 2 guys behind him, that's Remco Evenepoel driving it, but Matteo Cattaneo wants to lead into this climb, because when I bring you up to the front rider, the first rider, Quinn Simmons, that came into the Ganda proper, look how narrow and technical it is as he came through this right turn with the buildings, narrowing the road up. Well, Quinn Simmons is holding a gap of about 2 minutes and 15 seconds on the peloton behind, but as they come through, we look up front. UAE team members are going to take over the front of the peloton for sure, and it's time for Rafael Majka to go to work. We look at the back of the peloton, that's Sivakov that's getting dropped. Tip of the hat here to Sivakov. He rode about 90 kilometers on the front. Domen Novak, the other UAE team members, rode from the beginning of the stage all the way into about 135 kilometers ago. We could call that easily 90 kilometers. So with 2 riders, UAE team members has done a fantastic job of controlling the breakaway that's getting wrapped up as Michael Matthews getting pulled back, but Quinn Simmons is still going up the road. Now, Rafa Majka's on the front. He's drilling it. Jay Vine's there. Tadej Pogačar is at the front, sitting 3rd position. Remco Evenepoel's in fine position. Adam Yates is a little bit out of position. We'll call him about 12th. Yeah, we'll call him 15th position. Then you got to go further back to find Isaac Del Toro. He's a little bit lost in space back there, but the Mexican rider's got some form in 2025 too, so he'll find his way back up. Most importantly, start to look, though, is Tom Pidcock's a little bit far back, and Primoz Roglic is a little bit far at about 10th position. We go back up front. We've got Rafael Majka, who's calling this his last race of the season and his career in 2025. So as he's drilling it on the front, we see Primoz Roglic start moving back up, getting into position. He moves in front of the duo from Tudor Pro Cycling. That's Julian Alaphilippe and Michael Stora. As Primoz Roglic is in the position, we start looking up front. Rafael Majka's looking over shoulder. Jay Vine's looking over the same time, making sure Tadej Pogačar's got the legs. Guys, he's got the legs. I've seen him start the second climb in today's race at the far back. He picked up his teammate Domen Novak, and they rode to the front, and Domen Novak continued to ride on the front. But now Tadej Pogačar's sitting 3rd position, so Rafael Majka knows it's about time to go to work. If I back the film up just a hair, Primož Roglič did a little bit of bumping there with Michael Storer, the young Australian kid that's showing some fine form, but lost it to Julian Alaphilippe and to Storer. So he's been pushed a little bit far back. We'll call him about 7th or 8th position. Up front, Rafael Majka is drilling it through this left bend. He'll pull off. As he pulls off, he starts to blow. Now it's time for Jay Vine to go to work. As Jay Vine gets on the front, guys, Tadej Pogačar is there. The Mexican rider Isaac Del Toro's got himself in the picture. Adam Yates is a little bit further back, but still in front of Primož Roglič at this moment. And Jay Vine is throwing everything into it. As he's throwing down on the pedals, the first rider of some of the GC favorites to start to explode in this top 10 anyways, because behind Primož Roglič was Tom Pidcock. He's having a rough time. Still in and around the picture, but having some problems along with Egan Bernal. They're a little bit out of sorts right now at this moment with the speed from Jay Vine. But the first UAE Team Emirates rider starting to blow, that's Adam Yates. Adam Yates is sitting just in front of Primož Roglič, and he starts to blow. So Primož Roglič has to do a big dig to try to close the gap up front. Once he gets up there, we see Pseudo Quickstep's Remco Evenepoel. He's sitting 5th, 4th position right now, right there behind Isaac Del Toro. But his teammate, Mikel Landa, starts to blow. As the Basque rider starts to blow, now Primož Roglič has to close that gap too. He's starting to hurt a ton. Now we go up about 1.5 K since it's been the time that UAE Team Emirates, Jay Vine's been on the front. Well, Jay Vine's time is just about done, which means what? It's time for Pogi's show. If he's going to put it on right now, is it. He's still got Isaac Del Toro on his wheel, but Jay Vine blows, goes over to the right side, head drops between the shoulders. Tadej Pogačar throws in acceleration. Isaac Del Toro that was sitting on his wheel, and Remco Evenepoel. You never let anyone between the wheel of you and Tadej Pogačar if you're the second favorite here to win Tour of Lombardy. That was a tactical mistake. Isaac Del Toro blows, moves over. Remco Evenepoel does not have the legs to close up to Tadej Pogačar, who's standing up out of the saddle. He'll look back over his shoulder. He sees the gap, so he throws in another big acceleration, and Remco Evenepoel stays steady on the pedals but cannot follow the Slovenian up front. As Remco Evenepoel's losing time to Tadej Pogačar, Pogačar is gaining time on Quinn Simmons. Now it's going to take about 2 kilometers further up the climb with about 3.5 kilometers to go on this climb, and we see that Tadej Pogačar has wrapped up Quinn Simmons. We go further back down. Remco Evenepoel stuck on the front. He's got company on his wheels. As we see right away, Paul Sextus has made the gap. I backed the film up down the descent. He was way back, had to jump around all those times around Primož Roglič as he was closing gaps. Paul Sextus was doing the same thing. So he's made the group there with Remco Evenepoel. Storer, Michael Storer sitting second on the wheel, and Isaac Del Toro's there too. Now we go further up as Tadej Pogačar has wrapped up Quinn Simmons. He's starting to drop Quinn Simmons. He's going solo. Quinn Simmons did about 500 meters on the Slovenian's wheel. It was a remarkable ride, really, and has been a remarkable Tour of Lombardy. And if you asked me, I for sure would have called him a knucklehead for attacking at 85 kilometers to go. But now I'm calling him almost a hero right now as he's getting dropped by Tadej Pogačar, but he's still got a chance to podium here at Tour of Lombardy. We go further back down. We see Remco Evenepoel's dropped some company back there. As he started to blow off, Sextus started to drop. Isaac Del Toro was starting to drop with just about 1 K to go. And as Isaac Del Toro came off the back, Remco Evenepoel was bridging up to Quinn Simmons with just a few hundred meters to go on this penultimate climb here at Tour of Lombardy. Remco Evenepoel passes on the left side, throws in an acceleration. Storer sitting second wheel, then Storer starts to blow. Quinn Simmons has been in the break all day long, guys. He still finds a way to come around Michael Storer, and the 2 riders over the top of the penultimate climb close back up to Remco Evenepoel. Tadej Pogačar is up there going solo. He's got a gap of about 1 minute when he went over the climb. Now Remco Evenepoel, if he can get some help back there, can he do anything? I don't think there's enough help because Quinn Simmons has been up there all day long, and when we look at the drag before the final descent, we see Quinn Simmons starts to get popped. As he comes out the back, Michael Storer and Remco Evenepoel are there, but they're not working together because Storer's holding on for dear life as Remco Evenepoel's still trying to close the gap that's just losing time to Tadej Pogačar. We look further back, we see we look further back, it's Primož Roglič. He was going over the top of the climb, and he had some company back there with Landa. When they started going down the descent, we see Richard Carapaz, EF Education, going through the left bend, went down, crashed, and up onto the side of the mountain there as Primož Roglič passes by on the inside, but Carapaz crashes coming down the descent. Now at this moment, they were 3.5 minutes back. Seems like this would have been a tall order to bring back, but this is Tour of Lombardy, and it's the final monument of the 25 season, so Carapaz must have been throwing everything into it. We go back up to look at Tadej Pogačar as he's going through all the turns at maximum speed. The Slovenian knows he's got a chance at winning his 5th back-to-back monument at Tour of Lombardy. Let me remind you guys, he already won Tour of Flanders and Liège-Bastogne-Liège. He finished podium at Milan-San Remo. He went second at Paris-Roubaix. We're talking about podium every one of the 5 monuments of the 25 season. He's trying to win 3 of them right now as he's dropping down the descent. We come into about 17 kilometers to go, and Isaac Del Toro has wrapped up the back wheel there of the American rider in Stars and Stripes jersey, Quinn Simmons. But we go to the group in between, Remco Evenepoel and Michael Storer. Storer started to open up a gap on the descent. We get further down the descent. He's still holding about a 5-6 second gap there on Remco Evenepoel. But once we look at Pogi come through this final bend, it's a left bend. You see that we got the security guy there kind of blocking off the cones in the middle. Well, Tadej Pogačar goes the outside, shoots between the cones, comes back out on the outside, switches back through the cones again to make the last and final right turn of this descent. He made it through safely, and this was a crazy descent. Now, as Tadej Pogačar leads down onto the coast road here, the highway, excuse me, not the coast. They did coast throughout the whole race. Now, Tadej Pogačar still holding about a 1 minute 20 second gap. Remco Evenepoel has dropped Storer as he couldn't close the gap once the roads start to flatten out, but he's about 1 minute 15, 1 minute 20 seconds behind Tadej Pogačar. 20 seconds behind him is Michael Storer. We look at the next group. It's 2 riders. It's the American rider Quinn Simmons. He's still there, and he's got Isaac Del Toro with him, but Tadej Pogačar's throwing everything into it when he comes into the final obstacle here with about 4.5 kilometers to go. He comes into Bergamo. It'll start at a proper pavement here after they exit the Old Town with the cobbles. Then it goes into proper pavement at about 4.3 kilometers to go. The crowd starts to get crazy deep and thick here for Tadej Pogačar. You see the sign there from the fan on the side of the road. Tadej, give me 5. Well, 5 is what he's about ready to give you. Tadej Pogačar comes through the crowds with nothing happening to him. He makes it through safely, goes through the arches, the final climb here, crests the top with about 3 kilometers to go. We go further back down. Remco Evenepoel's not so lucky. You guys are like, why did you pinpoint that Tadej Pogačar made it through safely? Because Remco Evenepoel had some problems. The motorcycle in front of him stalled out. They blocked the road. He had to pass on the left side, but he's got a safe amount of time on Michael Storer behind. Tadej Pogačar crests the top, drops down the descent, sits up and starts to celebrate as he crosses the line with both fists getting slammed in front of him as he wins his 5th back-to-back monument here of Tour of Lombardy, #1 ranked rider in the world. The next Eddie Merckx, safe to say right now here on the Butterfly Effect. Behind him, Remco Evenepoel rounds out 2nd, and we go back for a podium. Well, Michael Storer did a fine ride here for two-door cycling to come across the line for 3rd to get the podium. And the American rider in the Stars and Stripes jersey, well, he comes through the last bend solo as he must have dropped Isaac Del Toro somewhere back there. So the American rider gets 4th. Then we see the sprint back there amongst 5 riders, and Isaac Del Toro wins the sprint as it was Jay Vine leading him out at the front. But Isaac Del Toro throws the bike at the line to get top 5 position here. So UAE team member, it's Tadej Pogačar. Congratulations. Fantastic day here at Tour of Lombardy. Congratulations on your 5th back-to-back win here at Tour of Lombardy. Magnificent 25 season. And what he said afterwards is, of course, well, he loved doing Tour of Lombardy. This is the race that really suits him the best. There's no doubt about that. Of the 5 monuments, this is a GC race. There's no doubt about it. And when you come into a race like this with the kind of teammates that Tadej Pogačar have, Domen Novak, you were amazing. Sivakov, 90 kilometers. Rafa Michael, your final race of the season before you retire. Fantastic job. There's no doubt about that. Jay Vine, you put on a show. Adam Yates, you weren't even needed today. And Isaac Del Toro, you weren't needed. Your teammates were so good. But you guys were fantastic to round out top 5 positions and top 10s here at Tour of Lombardy. And Tadej Pogačar winning. Congratulations. Like and subscribe, guys. I'll see you guys certainly for some kind of videos later in the future. So make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. I'll see you guys for Beyond the Coverage real soon.